Hello and welcome to Interface, a series of videos on mystics of South India. These videos are based on my experiences, my interactions with mystics of South India. They could be very subjective, and please pardon me if you don't agree with my views. I'm neither a firm believer or a very loyal believer nor an agnostic. So I am a seeker. I consider myself as a seeker. This video is about my meeting with Sathya Sai Baba of Puttaparthi. It happened years ago, almost 3 decades ago. That time I was in my early 20s. One day I decided to go and meet Sathya Sai Baba. Normally in India, people visit mystics, astrologers, etc. when they are in trouble, when life is not going as they expect. Suddenly they seek the advice of a mystic or an astrologer. We think that this will bring us some comfort or they could shower their blessings on us. So at that period, I also thought like that. I was really in a crisis in my life. I just passed my degree course and there was a vacuum ahead. I didn't know on which way to move ahead. So one day I began my journey. That time there was no internet or mobile phone, so I couldn't get information that easily. But I checked with people who have been there, who had gone there, and also I checked several books about Sathya Sai Baba as well as his ashram and how to reach there. I had read a book written by one of the Western believers of Sathya Sai Baba named Howard Moffat. The name of the book is Sathya Sai Baba, Man of Miracles. So, as the name indicates, Howard Moffat was a follower, a believer, or a devotee of Sathya Sai Baba. I had also read some articles against Baba. In one of the older issues of a Malayalam magazine named Malayalam Nadu. So that set of articles there were several articles. So that articles were all critical of Baba. But Howard Moffat was full of awe. He was full of praise of Baba. So he had very wonderful experiences. Many miracles happened in front of him. He was a firm believer. I was in between. I started my journey from my home and I went to a small town named Kottayam. From there, I caught a bus to Bangalore. I have been told that I could get a bus from Bangalore to Puttaparthi. So I took a ticket to Bangalore. The next day, I think, I reached Bangalore and at the Kempegowda bus station, I was just searching for the bus to Puttaparthi. So I went to the enquiry counter and asked those who were sitting there from where I could board a bus to Puttaparthi. They pointed out at a place where buses to Puttaparthi are parked. I walked to the bus stand. As I was walking, I had a bag also on my shoulders. Somebody far away, a driver who was sitting on his bus, called me. I couldn't hear his voice. It was a mere gesture. He gestured with his hands. So I knew that he was calling me. I went there. I spoke to him. He said, "Are you going to meet Sathya Sai Baba?" I said, "Yes." I didn't think how he reached such a conclusion. Perhaps he might have thought that since I was walking towards the stand where Puttaparthi buses are parked, possibly I could be going to Puttaparthi. So he called me and then he said, okay, if you are going to meet Baba, then you need not go to Puttaparthi because he's right here in Bangalore city. He's there at a place known as Whitefield. It is not too far from this bus station. You could catch a bus from another point. He said he pointed out to another place where buses to Whitefield are parked. I reached there and I took a ticket and I boarded a bus. I think soon I reached Whitefield. I go down there. I saw the ashram. First of all, I rented a room opposite in a medium lodge, which I thought was a good lodge. So I rented a room. I took a bath and then I went inside. So I was told that today Baba is there, but the darshan time was over. So the next day I could meet him. I went back to my room. My mind was full of apprehensions. I was thinking whether meeting Baba will bring me a great fortune, a windfall. And another factor was that I had not told my parents that I was going to meet Baba. I told them that I was going to meet a friend only. So I thought Baba will immediately tell me about all such things, all such secrets. So that night I was full of eager. Though I slept, my mind was always there. What is going to happen the next day? So that was a night I couldn't sleep well. The next day I got up early and had a bath and everything and went to the ashram. There I was told that Baba will appear, Baba will give darshan at an auditorium named, I think the name was Purnachandra or something, Purnachandra Auditorium or something. I forgot it. Hundreds, I think more than 1,000 or 2,000 people were there. The auditorium was jam packed. We were all asked to sit in small groups. I think groups of 4 or 5 people were formed and volunteers were there, a lot of people were there. We all sat just eagerly waiting for Baba. There was a way in between. We were sitting there was an aisle. On both sides of the aisle, we were sitting in small groups so that Baba could walk through the middle of us. So there was some time I was sitting there. The atmosphere was electric because bhajans were singing. A lot of the atmosphere was of pure devotion. So everybody was sitting with their eyes closed or praying. All of them were eagerly waiting for the arrival of Sathya Sai Baba. That was a dramatic atmosphere. And suddenly that our anxiety, we were all anxious. Suddenly we saw that somebody was coming. So there was an announcement that Baba will enter the auditorium soon. And he soon entered. He was a diminutive person. I thought initially my concept was he was a very tall person. But he was a diminutive, small person, frail looking. He wore a cloth like of full length. So that all I had seen from photos. There were many devotees a few devotees accompanying him. He came and sat on a chair and he was listening to the bhajan, sometimes nodding his head, sometimes enjoying it. And afterwards, I don't fully remember each and everything. Afterwards, he came down, alighted from the podium, and walked among the crowd. Many people reached up to him or tried to. Many had letters with them. Those letters, perhaps they were memorandums. Those letters might have contained their requests seeking intervention or divine intervention of Sathya Sai Baba. Anyway, all of them handed over letters to Baba. And Baba didn't read it at the moment, but he received it carefully and he handed it over to those who were accompanying him. So there was one thing which I remember. Whenever he reached a group, he would pull up his sleeves and then he will wave his hand in the air and down came a few toffees. If there were 5 people, there would be 5 toffees. There were 4, there would be 4 toffees. That was something wonderful. I was, for the first time in my life, I saw a miracle in front of me. I don't know whether that was magic. Some people say Baba was performing tricks. That was a sleight of hand. I don't know. Anyway, I also got a toffee. But I had nothing to say to him, though I had many things to say. I had not written anything in a paper to be given to Baba. So I just, with my folded hands, I prayed to him. I saw some people trying to touch on his feet, some at least trying to touch on his clothes. A dishdasha like Arab dishdasha like clothes. That gown, somebody got a touch on that gown, and it all ended in a couple of minutes. He moved to other groups. Then that was the end of it. By noon it was over. I got out. I sat there for some more time. I got out and I went back to my room. I was a bit dejected. So I thought some miracle will happen. Nothing happened. Though I had some dejection, I thought again some kind of peace was there. Perhaps that was there from my subconscious. I don't know. Anyway, the next day, I boarded another bus back to Kerala. So there was no great miracle. Nothing happened. It was simply that I came to Bangalore, I met Sathya Sai Baba, and I returned. But while returning, one thing I thought about my meeting with a driver who gave me the right direction in Bangalore bus station, Kempegowda bus station. So how could have he known that I was going to Puttaparthi or I was going to meet Sathya Sai Baba? Was it out of his simple common sense, or just because he was a kind person he called me? While seeing me, because he was a driver, he saw hundreds of people every day, so he could recognize if somebody is in trouble or somebody is trying to search something. So from the face or the body language, some people could realize it. Was it just because of his common sense and intelligence that he recognized that I was going to meet somebody or Puttaparthi because I was walking towards the direction or the place where buses were parked, or was it because of the divine intervention of Sathya Sai Baba? So that I thought over. It was then later it appeared to be a real miracle to me, because there were many chances that he could have just ignored me, because he was seeing so many people every day. He cannot call and give directions to each and everybody. And moreover, I was actually far away from him, and he couldn't even recognize properly my body language. I was more than say 50 meters, or it was around 75 meters away from the bus in which he was sitting. So there could have been a divine intervention there. I thought like that. There was no immediate change in my life, but somehow or other I felt that I could tide over the crisis, and slowly I returned to my ordinary life. So it took many years to tide over my crisis, but I think I got an inspiration to work hard, to face the reality, to fight with adversities. That inspiration I got from there. Perhaps I think that is what all mystics or sannyasis in India do. I don't think they cannot immediately change your fortunes. If somebody could change your fortunes immediately, then I think that will upset the equilibrium of this universe. And even God may not be, or even that mystic may not be willing to do that, or he won't do that. But he can instill confidence in us. Perhaps Baba might have instilled, or seeing him might have instilled confidence in my mind. This could be the benefit in the meeting. After meeting Baba, I have seen many others, many mystics. Never I received any immediate benefit out of it. I never had any miraculous experiences. Or I am a person who is very logical. I think is very logical. I have never it was not common in my life to experience miracles, but each meeting with a mystic will have some influence in our mind. That many times it had instilled confidence also. So that was about my first meeting with Sathya Sai Baba. Incidentally, I forgot to tell one thing. That was the time when an attack occurred against Sathya Sai Baba. And when I entered that Purnachandra auditorium, there was a metal detector. It was required for me to pass through the detector. So that was a turbulent period, I think, for Baba also. But I found that there were not many touts or crooks roaming there trying to cheat us or anything like that, as some people or some of the critics say. But don't expect anything miraculous, immediate. Perhaps some people might have experienced, I don't know. Personally, my experience is that meeting mystics or enlightened people, it will have an effect on our mind. It will give us confidence to face the reality. So that was a beginning. From there, I started my journey to realize myself. So that started at Whitefield in before Sathya Sai Baba. So that was the significance of the meeting for me. This is what all about my meeting with Sathya Sai Baba. Thank you for listening. Meet you next time with another topic, with another experience of meeting another mystic. Till then, goodbye. Namaskar.